Okay, hello and welcome to another episode of TEVAdrive. We're excited to bring you these two amazing new electric cars that just arrived on the Canadian market. On my left is 2022 Volkswagen ID.4 Pro S rear-wheel drive. So it's basically the base car, rear-wheel drive, except for the $8,000 appearance package, and we'll explain to you in a moment what that package comes with. On my right is 2021 Ford Mustang E, rear-wheel drive, special edition California Route 1, and it's a rear-wheel drive car as well. Now, these two cars the Mustang comes in two different battery sizes, the Volkswagen in Canada, because in Europe it's different. In Canada and the USA, so North America, it only comes in one battery size, and that is 77 kilowatt hours net. I believe it's 82 gross. On the Mustang side, the base car, which is rear-wheel drive, the standard battery, standard range is about 66 kilowatt hours, and then the extended range is about 82 net. So it's the size of the battery on the Volkswagen is right in between the standard range and the extended range of the Mustang. The Volkswagen ID.4 in Canada starts at only $45,000 for the rear-wheel drive version, which qualifies, of course, for the federal rebate. And the best deal of all is the all-wheel drive version, which hasn't arrived yet, which will be starting at around $50,000, minus again the $5,000 federal rebate. On the other hand, the Ford Mustang Mach-E starts at around $50,000 for the rear-wheel drive version, the base car, and the base all-wheel drive starts at around $55,000. So they are about $5,000 apart from each other. However, the way we're driving them today, this car is basically around $52,000, $53,000 because it's a standard $45,000 plus the appearance package, which is $8,000. So it's just over the $50,000, $53,000. Where this one here, it's $64,000. So they are 10 grand apart. The California Route 1 edition rear-wheel drive is approximately $64,000. So this one is 10 grand more. It does come with the extended range battery, so the longer range battery. So we'll tell you in a moment our experience from driving and what the actual range was on these two cars. Let's start by showing you those cars on the outside and on the inside. So we'll start with the Ford Mustang Mach-E. Some people don't like to call it a Mustang. So let's just call it a Mach-E. We're going to lift this. It's a hydraulic lift for the front hood. What you have here in this car is a frunk, or a front trunk, which the Volkswagen doesn't have. So you can store your things in both in the front and in the rear. Of course, you have the windshield washer refill cap here in the front. Both cars have beautiful LED headlights. What the Mustang has is the electric louvers up front, which open and close as needed. Both cars, as you can see, come with the standard all-around parking sensors, which makes sense in this price range. Let's show you a bit now the wheels. These are 19-inch wheels on the California Route 1. They are not the prettiest wheels in our opinion, but you can match it up with whatever rims you want. There's all kinds of choices for the Mustang Mach-E. So as you can see here, the sign says Mach-E X. So this means that the X stands for extended range. If it was all-wheel drive, you would have a number 4 here. So it would say Mach-E 4X. So this one here means that it's extended range, but it's rear-wheel drive. So both of these cars, standard is rear-wheel drive and all-wheel drive is optional. What is interesting is the solution that Ford came up with for opening the doors. So this is your handle, but it doesn't open. In order to open the door, you have to press the button. So you put your hand like this, and then you use your thumb to press the button, and you open the door. Okay, so here's the interior. So you can see the two screens, one in front of the driver, the main dash, and then the center screen. The center screen is vertical on the Mustang, and it's larger than the one on the Volkswagen. Both cars come with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay wirelessly. They also both come with wireless chargers. We'll show you that in a moment. Both cars come with an amazing fixed glass panoramic roof on top. with the difference being that the Mustang does not have the cover and the Volkswagen does come with a sliding shade for the panorama roof. So similarly here in the back, it's an electric solution to open the door. There is no handle where you can pull the door, so you simply press the button and the door pops up, and then you just put your hand and open like this, okay? So here is your spacious rear. There's ample room. In terms of the interior size, the size of the car, and even the trunk size, those cars are very, very close together. So a lot of people will be cross-shopping those two cars. Okay, so let's show you the front. Let's show you the trunk now of the Mustang E. Now, the one thing that surprised us, this is a $64,000 vehicle, and the trunk is manual. Okay, so it's just a hydraulic lift. It's not a, now, judging by this little panel here, there must be versions out there, the more expensive versions that will have the electric lift gate. This one here is manual, where the Volkswagen, even in its base form, has an electric opening hatch. Okay, so this is the trunk, which is almost identical in size to the Volkswagen. Now you have a bit more storage here, and the same thing in the Volkswagen as well. So here you have the storage for cables and your emergency tire repair kit. Okay, there's a 12-volt outlet. The lights are here, attachment for children's seats, and that's about it for the trunk. Of course, you can see the typical Mustang lights, which are sequential. So when you're turning, they basically go from one side to the other, which is a typical Mustang fashion. And you can see the badge here that says California Route 1 Edition. So that has a specific badging just for that edition. So basically, as I mentioned to you, the charging pad, and my phone is in the cover, it still works fine. So here's your charging area for your phone. So this is the welcome screen. In order to turn the car on, which is again different than the Volkswagen, you basically, even if you press on the pedal, nothing happens. You have to basically then turn the car on. And these are the interesting welcome sounds that you hear on the Ford Mustang E, very futuristic. So basically you have the main screen here, which shows you the speed, the main information, the cruise control information, the gear positioning. And by the way, the one pedal driving can be turned on or off. You have an L mode, which gives you more regen, but then we actually had the one pedal driving button off. So now when we take you for a test drive, we'll have the one pedal driving activated, which should give us the full one pedal driving, which is slightly different than the Volkswagen solution, which we'll tell you in a moment. So as you can see, there's different drive modes here. So when you go to the car, you have the drive modes. There you go. You have Engage, Whisper, and Unbridled. So the economy is Engage, Whisper is kind of in the middle, and then you have the Unbridled here, which comes with all kinds of fake engine sounds, which you can see here, you can turn the pedal, one pedal drive on or off, and same with the propulsion sound, you can turn it off as well. But in the Engage, those sounds are almost non-existent. In the Whisper, they are very discreet. And then the Unbridled, they are the loudest, of course. But again, you can override those by turning the propulsion sounds off. And again, the one pedal drive can be turned off. Then you have the different camera settings here. So you just go back, and it's a very responsive screen, by the way. Okay, you just turn it off here. You have the parking. So active park assist, okay, so which is available on this particular edition of the car. The car access, driver assistant, you have the list of all the different settings this is actually the control for sound. Anyways, you have the phone settings, you have the charge options. Yeah, as you can see, we're at 84%, 370 kilometer range. Even though this is extended battery, So the full range will be just over 400 kilometers, where on the Volkswagen this morning when it was fully charged, it showed us the range of 450 without climate, 430 with the climate on. And we'll tell you what our average consumption was in a moment. But first we'll take you for a spin in this amazing Ford Mustang Mach-E. Here you have personal profiles, driver assistance, and then you have the main menu is all here. So phone, radio, next EV charge. So this is basically it. You know, it shows you the search for all the nearest charging points. So this is a quick way to get to it. So again, let's go back to the main menu. You have tire pressure, trips. Here's your trip consumption. We just came down basically from Midland to Port McNicoll, where we are shooting this video. And let's just see here. Right now, trip 1, this trip 2. Yeah, the average, as you can see, trip 2, the 15 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, and it's the last 5 hours and 127. Of course, we didn't drive it, somebody before us did. And as you know, these test cars can be driven very hard. So 15 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers with a climate on over the last 127 kilometers is really not bad. So this trip, obviously, we're standing still, so it's not giving us the consumption. Coming down here, we were amazed to see the consumption of around 10 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers coming down from Midland to Port McNicoll. It is mostly downhill because we're on the lakeshore right now, but anyways, it was still impressive. So you have this trip was 127 kilometers, and trip 2 is the same. Okay, so let's go back to the main menu. So basically all the main things are here: Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, Bluetooth audio, owner's manual, and such. So what is kind of interesting with the Ford, which is different than all the other electric cars we have driven, is this little button here. So you have basically this huge touch screen, but you have the volume controls are all here. Okay, so which is interesting. And here's your climate controls as well, your rear defroster, the fan speed, etc., etc. The gear shifter here is typical Ford. You will find the same gear shifter in Ford Fusion and many other Ford Escape. So park, reverse, neutral, drive. L is the low mode. We thought that this would allow us for the higher region, and it does, but there's an easier way to get the one pedal driving is by using the button on the screen. And then you have just the handbrake. There's your parking sensors, your hazard lights, 2 cup holders, lots of storage here which you can cover. There's a cover for it, and then place to put even 2 phones, but only the one on the left. As you can see, the symbol, the charging symbol, only on the left it charges your phone. There's your USB and USB-C outlets right here, but both in the Mustang and in the Volkswagen, the Apple CarPlay and the Android Auto are wireless, which is amazing. You don't have to fiddle with cables and worry about the cables. So wireless charging and wireless communications for Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Okay, now it's turn for us to show you this amazing Volkswagen ID.4. We have to say that both of these cars are very distinct. They are unmistakable electric cars, unlike any other Volkswagen and unlike any other Ford. They try to create the kind of the Mustang look in it, but it's unlike any other Ford and unlike any other Mustang. Same with the Volkswagen. It's a very distinct look with a very kind of a blank face, very minimal air vents for basically just the air conditioning and cooling of the batteries. What is very nice and impressive on this, and especially at night, if you've seen our video on our Facebook page shot at night, is that you have this unibrow LED. So it's all LEDs. It continues here. Not only that, but the whole Volkswagen logo is lit up. Okay, so it has a phenomenal effect at night, and same in the back. You have the red unibrow in the back. So what is different about Volkswagen compared to the Mustang Mach-E is that in the front you don't have a front storage compartment. Basically all the electronics are here. The front motor is not here because this is a rear-wheel drive version, but all the electronics, the cooling systems for the car and for the battery, it's all here. So you don't have any storage in the front. Also, this is manual. I guess they figured you won't be opening this at all except to fill up your windshield washer. So it's all manual, as you can see here. You just set it up here to, I believe that's where it goes, but anyways, we won't do it. So you have to, there's no hydraulics here, so you have to watch it because it's quite heavy. And that's it. So there's no storage in the front, where the Mustang has a very spacious front trunk or frunk, as you just saw it. Okay, so let's take you around maybe this side here. The Pro S, as you can see, this is the Pro S version of the Volkswagen ID.4. Comes with a 20-inch rims. Now, the car we're driving today, because the Canadian versions have not arrived yet, this is an American spec car. In Canada, we wanted to mention to you that the standard equipment will include things such as heat pump, heated steering wheel, and a heated windshield, which the Americans don't get. So that's one thing. Not only is our Volkswagen ID.4 cheaper than the US, but it comes with these amazing and really necessary options for our Canadian climate. So regular opening door, it is still electric, so when you close it, there is no handle. There's an electronic button. You open it like in a traditional handle, okay? But it's electric. The one thing you'll notice right away is the nice blue LEDs all around. So along the doors, the entire front dash, and around the other door as well. So you have these amazing LEDs, which again, if you've seen our night videos yesterday, you would have seen those. This cover, it just opens up. The blind opens up. You have the same two screens here, but it's a smaller screen and it's a horizontal screen plus the same screen. This is kind of similar, very similar to our BMW i3. Here's your gear shifter, drive and neutral and reverse. And then we'll show you once we're driving it what this main display shows you. For now, it just shows the leftover range, state of the battery. When you're driving, this changes. There's 3 different displays, which we'll explain as we take you for a test drive. So you have these 2 cup holders here, organized differently than in the other car. And then again, let us show you the wireless charger is right here. It's kind of hidden. You see and my phone has a cover on. Now Volkswagen has trouble charging it wirelessly because of my cover. All the other electric cars which had wireless pads did not seem to have an issue charging my phone. This one kind of interrupts the wireless charging because of my phone cover. So you put it simply here. It's nicely lit up with an LED. The spacious back seats. Now the nice thing about this is the vegan leather, as you know. And here's the panorama, which we'll show you later on. Right now it's got the cover on. The sliding cover or the blind is covered up. So the wheels are much nicer on this version of the ID.4 Pro S, the 20-inch wheels. The hatch is electric, okay, as opposed to the manual hatch in the Mustang Mach-E. So you can see very spacious trunk in the back. The seats are split 40-60. And you have additional storage here as well, which we can show you a little bit of, because there's a bit of additional storage there and under the floor. Okay, so in terms of the size for the trunk, both of these cars are very, very similar. Now this one comes with that convenience, package. The appearance package comes with a foot swipe. Okay, sometimes it works like we've seen with the other cars, other electric cars. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Okay, so the best thing is just to press the button. But it does come with that foot swipe feature. So there you go. Now it worked. Anyway, so it comes with it. You have a handle to close it manually as well. But the hatch on the Volkswagen is electric. All right, so that's about it for both cars in terms of the interior and the outside. Let's show you more when we take you for a spin in both of these cars. Okay, so here we are in the 2021 Ford Mustang Mach-E electric crossover. This is the California Route 1 edition. We're going to take you for a quick spin on the way back to the dealership. By the way, thank you very much to Dan McGuinness at Bourgeois Ford in Midland for letting us drive this Ford Mach-E to compare with the Volkswagen ID.4 that we're driving this week. I think it's a very important comparison because a lot of people will be cross-shopping these two cars. So we'll tell you all about our thoughts on the comparison as we drive this car back to the dealership. All right, let's turn it on. Every time we turn it on, it sounds different. This car comes with the extended range battery, which is 82 net, so it's bigger than the 77 kilowatt hours on the Volkswagen. In terms of the range though, as you can see, right now it's 84%, showing 377 kilometers left at 84%, so at full it'll be just over 400 kilometers. Very similar to the Volkswagen, but Volkswagen battery is smaller, it's 77 as we mentioned, and it was showing full at 450 kilometers this morning without the climate. With the climate, it would have been around 430 kilometers. So we have the climate off as well. Let's turn it on. There we go. It's full auto at 23. Let's keep it at 23 to be fair, for it to be fair comparison. As you can see right now, the range didn't change. It's still showing 377 kilometers at 84%. So in terms of the drive modes, okay, let's go back to the car. Drive modes. We'll start in the engage mode, which is noisy because it produces, engage is the economy one, whisper is the middle one, and the unbridled is the one that's the most sporty of the three, and it's the noisiest because it produces the propulsion, the artificial propulsion sound. So let's take it for a spin and show you what it feels like. And again, one pedal driving. There you go. The region is very strong and the car actually stops, which the Volkswagen or Audi doesn't do. So one pedal driving is what we like. Very strong regen, and it comes to a full stop. So this is 266 horsepower versus Volkswagen's 200. So it's a faster car. 6 seconds to 100 versus Volkswagen's approximately 7.6 from 0 to 100. The Volkswagen's all-wheel drive with 300 horses will have a 6-second acceleration. So similar to this rear-wheel drive version of the Ford. Obviously, the all-wheel drive version of the Ford Mustang E will be just over 5 seconds, and then you have the GT Performance, which will be 3.5 seconds to 100. So the Ford Mustang was designed as a high-performance car, where the Volkswagen is basically a long-range electric car, which comes in two versions. You can hear the artificial car sounds. If you don't like them, you can turn them off. So it's not the same as the Jaguar artificial V8 sounds. It's much more discreet. It's hard to say whether they went for a 4-cylinder sound or a 6-cylinder sound or a V8 sound. Definitely doesn't sound like a V8. So maybe it's just like a regular 4-cylinder engine sound. Could be a V6. Anyways, you make up your own mind. So it's a fairly discreet sound. It's not very loud. If we turn it off, now all you can hear is the electric motor sound. Yeah, now all you get is the electric motor sound, and this one is the rear motor, rear-wheel drive, just like the Volkswagen ID.4. Both of these cars have all-wheel drive option, which will add the front motor to it. This California Route 1 edition is still rear-wheel drive, but it is an extended range battery. So again, the base battery on the Mustang is 66. The extended range is 82. Volkswagen is smack in the middle of these two. So this is the most sporty, and it's very peppy, as I like to call it. Twisty roads on the shores of Georgian Bay. It holds the curves very well. Even with these 19-inch tires, which by the way are also standard on the Volkswagen, 19-inch, and our example comes with 20-inch upgraded wheels. Here we'll have to get to the highway. Right now we're still in the village, so we can't use the autopilot mode on this. All the controls are here on the left side of your steering wheel. and the right side is all, basically phone entertainment and verbal commands. Okay, so in terms of the interior, somehow the Volkswagen feels higher quality, more upscale. The Ford is nice, it's very sporty feel to it, and it's basically the higher performance oriented car. We'll have to wait and see how the all-wheel drive version of the Volkswagen ID.4 feels like. This feels much faster, and it is faster, right? It's faster by 1.5 seconds to 100. So again, the ranges are very similar, but keep in mind that if you buy the base to base, so apples to apples, if you go for the smaller battery on the Mustang, it'll have much shorter range. So you can expect probably just over 300 kilometer range versus the base Volkswagen, which has well over 400 kilometer range. Fairly large difference right now in the marketplace is that these are sitting at dealers where the Volkswagen hasn't even arrived yet. So it might be fall or maybe even next year, because they're going to start distributing the Volkswagen ID.4 in Quebec and BC, with the provinces which have the incentives. The other provinces may have to wait even longer. Whisper mode still accelerates very strongly. And then if we do engage, the basic mode, so you can see the green indicating that the autopilot is ready, and we could turn it on at any point, but very poor markings here. So not until we go on Highway 12 will we try the autopilot system. Now, the other thing we have to mention, they both come with fixed glass panorama roof. The big difference is that in the Mustang E, it doesn't come with a sliding cover or blind. In the Volkswagen does. So what it does, it protects you from the heat on a hot summer day. It's coated. It's very heavily coated here in the Mustang E, but Volkswagen is coated. Plus, you have the blind that you can close if it's too hot, right? So it's another difference between these two cars. So we're gonna go on the Highway 12 here. We'll try and turn on the autopilot to show you. Here we go. It comes to full stop all by itself. I haven't even touched the brake pedal. Very aggressive regen when you turn on the one pedal drive. Otherwise, it's almost non-existent. And then if you put it in L, there's an L mode here, then it has more regen, but it's not one pedal driving. So the one pedal drive is only available on the Mustang. It's not available on the Volkswagen. It has a fairly strong regen, but it will not come to a full stop. Okay, so let's turn it on. Lane keeping system out, lane keeping system on. There you go. This is the distance, how you control the distance from the car in front of you. So we're gonna go with the shortest distance. There you go. We're at 70, and see how it auto steers. Okay, let's see. We're coming up to a turn, and it is turning. It is turning, just like the Volkswagen. Okay, nagging, touch the wheel. Still going, doing very well. So it's very similar system, autopilot and self-steer, auto steer system to the Volkswagen. It'll nag you actually, now that I'm thinking about it, the nagging is not as frequent as the Volkswagen. Okay, so Volkswagen happens every 15-20 seconds. This one was more like 30 seconds or so. And it does a very good job in keeping the car centered in its lane. With our Audi e-tron, as you know, it's just a lane keep assist, so it'll bounce you off the lane and then it'll warn you. There's no auto steer, at least not in the version that we have. So right now we're inside, obviously, the Volkswagen ID.4. So let's take you for a quick ride so we can give you our riding impressions. We're gonna have to close this amazing blind on this fixed glass sunroof because it's gonna get very hot. And it's one of the very few electric cars that have a blind over the fixed glass panorama roof. So the Ford Mustang Mach-E we just drove doesn't have it. Even Jaguar I-Pace doesn't have it. So let's close it, and you do it by sliding your finger here forward. There we go. So the blind is currently closing. Let's give it a chance to close. It takes a few seconds to close. This will protect me as well as our cameraman in the back from cabin overheating. Now we're gonna, so basically the car turns itself on as soon as you get in and sit in the seat, and then you press the brake pedal just like the Tesla, the car will turn itself on and it's ready to drive as soon as you put it in drive. Or there's still a start-stop engine button here on the side here. But anyways, the car is already on. We want to have you listen to the low-speed pedestrian warning sound as we drive. So as soon as we turn it on, you can probably hear it. So you have the standard is D. If you want to have more regen, you put it in B. So there is no adjustments you can do on the screen like you can in the Mustang Mach-E. There is no button for single pedal driving or to turn off the sounds. So it's basically just a D mode or B mode, okay? So if you want more regen, you put it in B mode. The car in a B mode will not come to a full and complete stop. It'll have more regen, so it'll almost stop, just like our Audi at max regen level. It won't come to a full stop. Also, another slightly annoying thing is that we cannot find a way to turn off the creep. So it creeps just like any other automatic gas car. Okay, so let's go for a drive. Let's have you listen. Before we close the windows and turn the climate on, let's have you listen to the sounds of the low-speed pedestrian warning. And we're gonna try and put it in reverse for a second to see if the sound is even more pronounced. Usually it is. As soon as you put it in the back, in the reverse, with most electric cars, the sound gets louder. On the Mustang Mach-E, you have the beeping sound, which is kind of annoying, but maybe it's good for when you're reversing. Yes. So as you can hear, it's much more pronounced when you're in reverse, which kind of makes sense to warn the pedestrians even more aggressively. And you have a beautiful backup, high definition backup camera here on the center screen. Okay, so let's put it back in drive. It's a bit more discreet, okay? So there we go. And it only lasts up until 30 kilometers an hour or so, and then it disappears. Okay, so let's close the windows. And to close the windows, front is easy. The rear, we already showed you, is a bit of a pain. You have to press a button called rear and close the rear using the same two buttons. It's kind of annoying. So let's turn the climate back on. There you go. Classic climate. You have smart climate, air care. We haven't figured out quite what that is. We have the eco climate on right now at 23 because we're driving in eco mode. So here are the three modes. If you go to main menu, vehicle, you can change the modes using the screen, or there's a mode button right here. Okay, so there we go. We've been driving here the 4 driving modes: Eco, Comfort, Sport, and Custom. So we've been driving in eco mode because it's fast enough. Honestly, there's no need to to use the sport mode. Okay, but for the purposes of this video, we will go and we'll try all the modes to kind of give you our comparison of the 3 modes. This is the instant consumption. This is the average consumption since the start of our test. We've driven 186 kilometers with an average of 16.2 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. Very economical, considering that we did a lot of highway driving, doing 110 with the climate on a hot summer day. Okay, so this is a very good result, lower than the Mustang, and of course way lower than our e-tron. Of course, our e-tron has 400 horses, where this car has 200 horsepower in its rear-wheel drive version. The all-wheel drive version of this car will have 300 horsepower. So the official numbers for this car are 7.8 seconds to 100 for the rear-wheel drive and 6 seconds to 100 for the all-wheel drive. The Mustang statistics are 6.1 for the rear-wheel drive version, which has 260 horses, and then the all-wheel drive version, which is much more powerful, will be around 5 seconds. And of course, for the GT Performance version of the car, it'll be under 4 seconds, around 3.5 seconds or so. So right now we're in Eco, we're driving through the village, no need to use any other modes. So as you can see, I still have to use the brake pedal to bring it to a full stop. And as soon as I let it go, it creeps. Okay, so maybe they did this to make it feel more natural for most automatic gas car drivers. I think Volkswagen, if you're listening, you should offer the one-pedal driving option like most other electric cars these days do. Maybe do it through a software update by offering this button on the screen, and then let the car come to a full and complete stop. That, I think, a lot of the experienced electric car drivers, which will seriously consider this car switching from any other electric car because it's an amazing electric car, please do offer this option if you can. The eco mode in this is much more aggressive than our i3 or even our e-tron, to be honest. So that's all you really need. And using this mode, you will get, based on our experience from yesterday, you will get 450 kilometer range at full without using climate, or 430 kilometers roughly with the climate, okay, in eco mode. Again, we've done this yesterday with the Mustang Mach-E in the evening. Both cars are holding the road very well. This car comes with the upgraded 20-inch rims. The Mustang, even in its California Route 1 edition, came with a not very beautiful 19-inch rims. You would figure that for the car that's priced at $65,000, you would get slightly bigger rims. Excuse me, especially that it's considered to be a special edition. So this car here, now the 20-inch rims come with the upgraded appearance package. And that package also offers you the full frontal LEDs with the lit up Volkswagen logo in front. So as we mentioned, the Volkswagen ID.4 in Canada will come with more standard options than it does in the US, even though it's cheaper, because in the US it starts at $45,000 American, here it starts at $45,000 Canadian. So in Canada, the car will come standard with heated steering wheel, heated windshield, and a heat pump, which the Americans don't get. Okay, so it's a phenomenal deal at $45,000 base, minus the $5,000 from the feds. The all-wheel drive is an even better deal because it starts at only $50,000 or $5,000 more. So $50,000 again minus the $5,000 from the feds. Okay, so it's the best deal by far so far for an electric SUV with the all-wheel drive option. All right, so now that we've been driving in eco mode, let's try and put it in the other modes. So there we go, comfort, and let's compare the acceleration. Yeah, it is, obviously, it is a little bit stronger, and then automatically the climate, the air conditioning is stronger as well. All right, the other thing that we wanted to show you is on the main screen. Right now on the left, you see the adaptive cruise display. The center shows you basically your speed, the speed limit. And it shows it both in miles per hour and kilometers per hour, which is kind of neat. Of course, it shows you the range left and the power band. So you can see we're decelerating, and it goes into green. When we accelerate, it goes into the blue. And of course, here's your gear positioning. So now the right side of it is reserved for navigation. So just for the purpose of this, let's go to car navigation and let's punch in any destination. Let's do the Canadian Tire, where we charged our e-tron yesterday, is there. It's a memory of previous destinations. You press start, and automatically here on the main screen,
follow the road for 150 meters.
And you will see,
turn left onto Ogden's Beach Road.
Sorry. You can see the arrow appearing here. Now the nice thing about this one is it's the only EV that we know of where even if you don't use the in-car navigation, even if you use your phone...
Follow the road for 11 kilometers.
Let's try and navigation. Yeah, you can make it quieter through the buttons here. Here's your volume button. So next time we hear her, we'll try and make her quieter so she doesn't interfere with us. But even so, to come back to my point, that even if you're using Android Auto navigation through Waze or through Google Maps, that navigation will still show up on this main screen on top of being on the side screen, which is kind of neat. And no other EV does that, as far as we know, so it's kind of a neat feature. Let's switch the mode back to Sport. There you go. And there we go. Okay, so by far it's the most aggressive. It reacts very quickly to the accelerator pedal. So let's go back to the vehicle, and then we're using up the hill in sport mode. The momentary usage, we're up to 80 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. Obviously it's just momentary. Our average is gonna go up, of course, but this is up a steep hill using sport mode. And the regen is the same. There's no difference in regen between the various modes, so it's just your acceleration is different. And then the fourth mode is your custom, just like the BMW personal or Audi individual. You know, you have the personal mode here is in the Volkswagen, which you can adjust all the various settings, make them your own. Okay, so let's keep it in the sport mode for now. You will see momentarily when you turn it on, you can have regular cruise control, adaptive cruise, or travel assist, which is their version of autopilot. So travel assist is activated. There you go. And you can see here, it shows you the speed. So obviously we're gonna accelerate. It doesn't accelerate automatically to the speed limit like the Audi does. It will show you, so it knows what the speed limit is, but it doesn't automatically adjust to the speed limit. So here we go. We're basically, I'm hands-free, and you can see we're approaching a bit of a slight turn. The car will turn itself. Take over steering. There is a nag, okay? It appears as frequently as the Fords and Volvo, Kia as well, probably Tesla as well. So it's the nags take over steering. That's about 10-15 seconds. So you're best off really now let's decrease it. So it didn't adjust to the speed. There we go, 60. So you have to be careful to adjust manually. Oh, there we go. It brakes nicely all by itself. Take over steering. All you have to do is touch the steering. So let's see now. Basically, it's the stop and go. It says ACC is ready, which means you have to press the accelerator pedal. It will not start all by itself. There we go. We have to press. And now, as soon as you press the accelerator pedal, it resumes the auto drive. Okay, there we go. So now if you expand this view, there you go. This is the navigation expansion. It will show the other cars, okay, so on left or right as you're passing them. So it's kind of similar to Tesla. So by sliding this view, you can maximize the autopilot view, or you can maximize your navigation screen. You can change from adaptive to regular cruise to the full autopilot using the buttons on the left. There you go. Adaptive cruise, you can switch it by moving your hand over the button here to regular cruise, and then to turn on the autopilot, there's another button right here. To kind of summarize the comparison between the Volkswagen and the Ford, if you want the less expensive car that has more of an upscale feel to it, because definitely all the finishes inside the car, from the plastics to the screens to the seats to the steering wheel, the panorama sunroof with the cover, the power lift gate, everything just feels much more upscale. So you know, if you want the more upscale feel, more European feel to it, and the longer range, which, you know, amazingly, even with the larger battery, the Mustang does not appear to have the electric range of this Volkswagen. The Mustang is definitely faster. So basically we can easily say that you know, the top of the line Volkswagen all-wheel drive with its 6 second to 100 acceleration will have about the same you know, acceleration as the base Mustang, which is, you know, 66 kilowatt hour battery, the standard range with its 260 horsepower rear-wheel drive motor will have the same acceleration as the top of the line Volkswagen ID.4. So if you're looking for performance and speed, definitely, you know, go with the Mustang. If you're looking for the best deal and the longest range, go with the Volkswagen. Okay, so that's about it for our driving impressions. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Rashev, that's RASZEW. Click that subscribe button. We're trying to reach the magic 1,000 subscriber number. We're close to it, but we would appreciate if you could subscribe and share it with your friends and ask them to subscribe as well if you like our reviews. Thanks for watching.